Hi guys, Holistic Health Harry. Today joined by Jade Lotus. We're going to talk to you about semen retention. So first, I've been in semen retention for 2.5 years. It's a very powerful healing modality. I'm very blessed to be in it. It gives me lots of energy. I feel like I can't go back now. I understand the power of, or the loss, shall I say, of ejaculation, how that affects me. And I'm like addicted to that state of health and vitality that comes when I transmute the energy, which we'll talk to Jade a bit about because she's an expert at this too. So we'll talk about the powers of keeping it in and why guys should, and this does include with a partner, so not just practicing, guys practicing by themselves, but even with a partner, there's ways that we can semen retain and have deeper interactions and more mature and more powerful communications with a partner. So here we have Jade, and Jade is a sexual alchemist. She teaches guys sexual semen retention, sexual alchemy, guys that have problems with premature ejaculation. So Jade, what is semen retention and why should guys be doing this practice?
Well, semen retention is just reducing the amount that you ejaculate. You know, it can be like a small amount of reduction, like maybe, for example, you're finding that when you're making love, you're lasting for like 5 minutes, you want to get an hour out of it. You know, it might be some people want to go for weeks and even months without ejaculation, and they want to store the energy. It's really individual. It's really up to each person what exactly they want to do with the semen retention. You know, I don't think there's any like specific sort of amount that someone has to do, but it's really about actually like coming into harmony with your body, having a relationship with your body, and basically just finding what's right for you and where do your energy levels feel good, you know, because on the one hand, as doctors say, they encourage frequent ejaculation. I mean, to some extent, sure, negative energy is actually stored in the prostate gland, and ejaculation is a way to get that negative energy out. You know, there's in fact, one of the big teachers of semen retention, who was Charles Muir, he actually developed prostate cancer, and there was another one who taught semen retention who actually died of it, you know. So it's really important to actually take seriously what you're doing. Nobody should just go, nobody who's been ejaculating every day should just go, I'm going to stop, you know. It's not healthy to do that. And if you're reducing and you're having like strong symptoms of discomfort in your body, just take it really
Afraid of blue
easy.
balls, right? When guys have
even more than blue balls, you can have blue balls, you can have your whole body like feeling like it's on fire, you know. Like those are actually things you should listen to what your body is saying, you know. Now the practice of sexual alchemy, with sexual alchemy, what we learn to do is we learn to transform the sexual energy. So both for men and women, instead of the energy being stuck in your prostate gland and maybe becoming stagnant and negative, it's about moving it through your body and transforming it. So this originally was taught to, thousands of years ago in China, it was taught to the Yellow Emperor. There was he had three women who taught him these sexual arts, basically. So originally they were actually taught to a man by three women, actually, you know. And women make very good teachers because we do understand, and we can come to understand through working with men about what's going on with their body, but also we have like a uniquely, come on Panda, sit down. We have a uniquely ability to kind of understand actually the feminine side of the man, because when you're doing this kind of practice, you actually need to get in touch with your feminine side. And doing the practice in a masculine way, which I would say is like squeezing the muscles in the perineum, trying to stop it, using a lot of willpower, that's not the way to do it. What you actually need to do is you need to transform sexual energy, which means moving the energy up your body. So there's a natural energy channel that flows up our body. We can call it like the Chong Mai, the Hara, like the Kundalini energy. It comes up. And there's several points where it can get stuck, you know. And I mean, one of those main places is actually the heart. So it's when the heart is closed to feeling love. That's basically an energy blockage. So it's so important to actually feel connection and love, you know, both with ourselves, to ourselves, and to other people. So for example, even when we are sitting together in this way and we're just talking, but we're holding each other's eyes, and there's a feeling of the connection, we can feel the connection between each other. And then when we direct our hearts towards each other, we can actually tune into our own energy fields and into the energy field of the person that we're with, and we can help each other to open our hearts. And this is a very important part of actually having really fulfilling sex as well, to have your hearts open and for there really to be love, because sex without love is kind of quite empty, but at the same time love without sex, it's also quite empty as well, you know. So one of the big things is, you know, having the heart open and then literally just going slow. You can slow down by 10 times. Slow down, connect, breathe, slow your breathing down.
That's
slow
connected in
your
with semen
heart.
retention, right? The idea that guys want to rush and therefore
Yes.
they're just going to come out because there's energy coming and they can't hold the energy, so just want to get out
Exactly.
quickly.
And guys, maybe the first times that they were masturbating or having sex, they had to do it in a rush, so it's become like a habitual thing. And actually when we rush into sex, we're just like ruining, you know, it's almost like rushing into a meal and giving ourselves indigestion, you know. We're actually ruining a really amazing experience. So actually the whole foreplay, the connection, even before touching each other, the talking, the feeling, the connection is all like super important. And that's what really builds up like a nice energy field and builds up the energy in our whole bodies, because just rushing into sex, the energy is not really going to have time to sort of move through our bodies, and as it moves to transform. So spending lots of time with your lady, if you're doing this with a lady, spending a lot of time warming up, or even as yourself, if you're self-pleasuring and for example you want to practice edging to be able to avoid ejaculation, actually start with like tuning into your whole body, even sort of touching your body, you know, and just getting to know your body basically. And yeah, so then Panda, come on, you gotta stay, I'm afraid. And then you know, and then another thing that can block us both as men and women is actually feelings of sort of shame and guilt, which can be put on us by society. So, you know, often it's coming from like religion, you know, and these, they tend to sit down here, you know, and often you might actually find, like if you have premature ejaculation, if you massage the pubic bone area, you might find it's actually really sensitive. But if you keep up that massaging, you'll be able to like loosen it all up and really actually also unblock emotions, you know. And it's important actually when you start feeling the emotions or negative emotions, not to just try to repress them and push them away, which means go back into your body, but actually to be with them, open up and really allow them to actually like leave the body by actually, you know, embracing them and allowing them space to kind of exist and then letting go of them, you know. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that makes complete sense to me. And so you're saying edging is actually or self-pleasuring is a good thing, as long as it's. You said in the last video that we had to redo that you get yourself to a climax and edge, but then you just keep it in. You don't, and you relax afterwards, right? And then you do that again, so you can self-pleasure with a partner.
So keep raising
right?
the energy. Exactly.
Right, it raises the energy.
It's good to practice on your own. And now, as a Taoist here, there's many different kinds of Taoists. Some practice celibacy. Others, they actually will try to have sex with like thousands of partners and believe that they're going to get enlightenment in that way. You know, it doesn't matter about what you're doing, whether you're having sex with one person. I mean, you know, Mantic he does teach, and I believe as well, one person is the best, you know, doing the practices with one person. But, you know, however you do it, like if you're celibate, absolutely you should massage your own sexual organs. It doesn't mean you need to massage to ejaculate, but you actually need to massage to release the stuck hormones and the stuck energy, so that because otherwise what's happening is the energy is stagnating down there, you know, and that's what's causing like the cancer. And that's why doctors are saying, you know, you should ejaculate as often as possible. But then of course the problem is with that, then you're losing your energy, because, you know, the doctors, they don't understand basically about sexual alchemy, you know. So this is like a third path, you know. We don't need to let the energy stagnate. We don't need to lose all our energy. There's this third path where we can
because it ties in the chakras, because if you think about the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, a lot of people are stuck in like blockages. You talked about like 1, 2 and 3, and we want to send it up. We're talking about sexual alchemy up, and then we can't do that unless we do these practices. And guys will seek the out of ejaculation with a partner or by themselves, because they can't handle, they're not sending it up, there's too much down there.
Exactly.
And
So
what got to send it out.
What we're talking about is a blockage in the sexual chakra, which is often feelings of guilt and shame, as I mentioned, you know, and get that feeling down there, which literally often comes up as actually discomfort and pain in the pubic area, you know, and then at the same time a blockage in the heart as well, which is to do with, you know, fear of actually love, lack of self-love, you know, you know, that I guess that kind of emotion. So those are the two classic blockages, although it can obviously, you know, happen in other places. And it's so important to actually open the heart, because if the energy starts moving, and maybe, for example, you go through the blockage here and it starts coming up, but the heart isn't open, what's going to happen is it's going to bounce back down into the liver or into the kidneys and can actually start causing like strong emotions of like things like anger and fear and so on. So that's also why it's important to do the inner smile and the healing sound as well as part of this practice, you know. But just for people on their own, definitely, you know, those three things I mentioned, which is go slow and breathe, you know, breathe slow. You know, when you're going to ejaculate, normally your breathing will speed up, your heart rate will speed up. Slow that down, you know. Just really slow that down, be present, be connected with your eyes and with your heart, and really feel passionately for your partner. Don't go into sex with the intention of ejaculating. If it happens, it happens, but don't go in with that intention, you know? And then also just really relaxing. It's so important, because sometimes ejaculation is actually like, if it's coming too early, it can be like a flight or fight response. So there's like a fear, a trauma around sex that maybe like we're not aware of. So going slow, and sometimes when we go slow, what actually happens is negative emotions come up. But this is okay, and we need to learn to actually like sit with those negative emotions, be with them, be present with them, accept them. And then when we start allowing that to happen, they can then be released, you know, because we won't release them by just blocking them off and putting them back into our body. We're only going to release them by actually giving them acceptance, giving them love, and then inviting them to leave, you know. So definitely like emotions, trauma, you know, ultimately if you're having a problem with coming too quickly, you know, it does ultimately come down to some kind of trauma. You know, it doesn't have to be rape or something like that. Often it can just be, you know, religious conditioning where you're taught to feel ashamed of your own body, or cultural conditioning. You know, that very often is like a trauma, or maybe a trauma of having been rejected or mistreated in some sort of way, you know. It doesn't have to be like a extreme thing. It can be like something that would seem like a minor event, but it's just stored in your body basically, you know. So absolutely, I mean, sexual alchemy is just, it's about opening up our bodies, and it's also about opening up and healing, and then releasing like our negative energies, you know.
Yeah, I love what you said there. That's really powerful. So I hope you guys have got a lot of value, and we're going to talk a lot more and do some more videos about this topic and expand a little bit on the inner smile. But for now, that was semen retention, the power of sexual alchemy with Jade Lotus, and holistic health with Harry. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.